I am your host this evening, Ironsides. Ram has found his place on the den. Or at least, he's found his routine. But routine isn't the same as belonging, and some memories don't stay buried forever. Settle in, get yourself a snack, Glim would insist, and prepare for the calm.
48 hours later, November 19th, 3136, Galactic Standard 770124.66.90, approaching Soul Jump Point.
The corridors of the den were starting to feel familiar. Not comfortable, Ram didn't do comfortable, but familiar. He knew which deck plates creaked, which hatches stuck, which sections ran warmer than others. 2 days of patrol routes had mapped the ship into his bones. Muscle memory. The way a soldier learned any terrain.
Jump point approach in approximately 90 minutes. Captain Heddick has scheduled transition for 1400 ship time.
Noted. 90 minutes to say goodbye to Sol.
You have a message from Dr. Galvin. He is reminding you of your scheduled medical appointment. 1300 hours.
Yeah, I remember. 1300 hours.
Your biometrics suggest reluctance, elevated cortisol, slight increase in heart rate.
I said I remember. I'll be there.
I did not suggest otherwise.
Ram kept walking. Deck 2, aft section. Past the emergency locker with its fire axe and tase lances. A hatch opened ahead of him. Tila stepped out of her quarters, datapad in hand, muttering to herself.
Tolerance is drifting again. I've told Captain Heddick twice now, the fuel injection matrix needs a full recalibration, not just a patch. If we push the drive too hard before I can balance the flow regulators...
She looked up, saw Ram. They both stopped. Her ears went flat, eyes wide. The same prey response he'd seen a dozen times now. Ram didn't move, kept his hands visible, kept his posture loose, waited. A long moment. Then Tila's ears slowly rose. Not all the way, still wary, but not flat against her skull anymore.
Mr. Ram.
Her voice was barely above a whisper. Morning, ma'am. She blinked at that. The same translator confusion, probably, but something in her face shifted. Not quite a smile, but not terror either. She stepped past him, keeping distance, and hurried down the corridor toward engineering. Progress. Fuel injection matrix. Flow regulators. Ram filed it away. Old habit. Know your environment. Know what might go wrong.
Stress response diminished approximately 14% from initial contact, habituation proceeding within expected parameters.
Ram watched her go. 2 days ago, she would have bolted back into her quarters. Now she could walk past him. Small steps. He checked the time. 12:47. Might as well get it over with. The med bay was small, clean, and smelled like ozone. Radiation lamps hummed softly in an alcove. Galvin's version of a lunch break, Ram assumed. The doctor absorbed energy the way plants absorbed sunlight. Stone that photosynthesized. Galvin's footsteps chimed against the deck as he turned from his console. The galaxy was strange.
Mr. Ram, thank you for coming.
Said I would. Here I am.
You did, and here you are. Please sit. This shouldn't take long.
Galvin gestured to the examination table. Ram sat, predictably too small for him, his feet hanging off the end. The surface was some kind of polymer that adjusted to body temperature, comfortable if you were broomy-sized. Galvin stood at his console, crystalline fingers moving through holographic displays. Ram's military medical record, translated into something the freighter's systems could read. Dates, procedures, incident reports. A 30-year history of damage and repair.
You're a fascinating puzzle, Mr. Ram. Your file is extensive, but incomplete. I have questions.
I figured you would.
Let's start at the beginning. Your earliest major injury on record. Titan Station, October 31, 04.
Galvin pulled up something on his display. His crystalline fingers traced the data.
Traumatic brain injury, skull fracture, ocular nerve damage to the right eye, shrapnel wounds to the face and upper body. You were 18 years old.
Ram's jaw tightened. He didn't answer.
The records from Titan are fragmented. Most of the files were lost during the evacuation. Corrupted data, damaged systems. What survived is incomplete.
Galvin's voice was careful, clinical, the tone of a doctor approaching a wound.
The file says you were unconscious for the evacuation. But you're here now, so tell me, what do you remember?
What did he remember? He remembered everything.
Titan Station, October 3104, 32 years ago.
The foxhole smelled like fear and frozen mud. Private Toivo Drust pressed his back against the earthen wall and tried to remember how to breathe. The M240 was a comforting weight across his lap, 30 pounds of belt-fed death that had felt impossibly heavy and basic and now felt like an extension of his arms. His hands weren't steady. Somewhere beyond the barricade, something was moving in the dark.
Hey, Drust, you still with us?
Private Jones was grinning at him from across the hole. Jones always grinned. It was his way of pretending nothing was wrong, even when everything was. I'm here. Just thinking.
Thinking's dangerous, leads to feelings.
Jones shifted his position, checking his rifle for the third time in 10 minutes.
You know what I'm thinking about? What happens if I don't make it back?
Don't talk like that.
Private Smitty's voice was tight. He was the youngest of them, looked it too. Soft face, scared eyes.
We're going to be fine.
Sure we are, but if I don't,
Jones held up a finger.
I need you boys to do something for me. Clear my browser history and get those pictures of Smitty's sister out of my footlocker before they send it back to my mom.
Silence. Smitty's head snapped around.
My sister.
Yeah, don't let him see them. He might buy the farm just to come kick my ass.
I'm gonna kick your ass right now.
Stow it. Both of you.
Corporal Hath didn't raise her voice. Didn't need to. She'd been on station for 10 months before the rest of them shipped out, practically a veteran by their standards. Old enough to know better. Tired enough to show it.
Jones, keep your fantasies to yourself. Smitty, stop letting him wind you up. We've got enough problems without you two adding to them.
Corporal, I'm just saying.
I know what you're saying. I also know something's out there and we have no idea what the hell it is. So I need everyone's head in the game.
Hath's eyes swept the foxhole.
That includes you, Drust. You've been quiet.
Whoa. Nothing to say.
That's a first.
Jones leaned over, trying to see into Drust's pack.
What have you got in there anyway? You've been hauling that bag around since we landed. Extra rations? Love letters? Embarrassing childhood photos?
Leave it alone, Jones.
Come on. We're probably gonna die. Least you can do is let me see what...
Jones reached for the pack. Drust caught his wrist. Not hard, just firm. Jones's grin flickered. For a moment, something else showed through. Then the grin was back, wider than ever.
All right. Man's got secrets. I respect that.
But Smitty was curious now.
Seriously, Drust, what is it?
Drust hesitated. Then, slowly, he reached into his pack and pulled out a small leather-bound book. Old. Real leather, real paper. The binding was cracked, the pages yellowed with age. Small enough to carry, his family had made sure of that generations ago.
Is that a book?
Jones leaned closer.
Like an actual physical book? What is that, 1,000 years old?
Older. It's been in my family since the 1800s. My grandmother gave it to me before I shipped out. Said it kept my grandfather safe in his war, and his father before him.
What is it?
Family Bible. Been passed down through the Drusts for, I don't even know how many generations. He opened the cover carefully. The pages were filled with handwriting, names, dates, births, deaths, marriages. Generations of his family recorded in fading ink. See all this? My grandmother's name, my grandfather's. All the way back to people who've been dead for centuries. Notes in the margins. Prayers someone wrote during some war I never heard of. I'm not really religious. It's just home. A piece of home I can carry with me. Jones leaned closer, squinting at the open page.
What's that say? Ramiel?
Ramiel. My great-grandfather wrote it there. Some angel, I think. Family tradition. Not sure. The writing is a little smudged. Something about the thunder of God? Jones's grin widened.
Oh yeah, angel of death with a machine gun. The thunder god. I like it. Ramiel. Ram.
The alarm started screaming. Red light flooded the foxhole. Emergency klaxons. A sound Drust had only heard in training, and it was so much worse in person. A sound that meant they're here, they're coming, this is real. Hath was already moving.
Contact. Everyone up. Weapons hot. Watch your lanes and check your fire. Watch your backstops.
Drust shoved the Bible back into his cargo pocket. His hands weren't shaking anymore. Funny how that worked. Through the barricade, he could hear it now. Chittering, clicking, the sound of too many legs moving too fast across frozen ground. And beneath it, something else. A hissing, whispering sound that might have been communication or might have been hunger.
Eyes front. Hold the line. Nobody fires until you can mark your target.
The barricade exploded inward. Drust saw legs. Too many legs. Eyes, 10 of them, clustered, gleaming in the red emergency light. Mandibles and fangs, opening wide. A body the size of a pony, covered in brown chitin, moving faster than anything that big should move. Jones was screaming. Or laughing. Hard to tell with Jones. Smitty was frozen. Hath was firing. And Drust. Drust braced the M240 against his shoulder and let the helmet do its job. Green text scrolled across his visor. The tactical overlay, basic infantry model, nothing fancy, but it worked. Target acquisition, rangefinder, threat assessment, target acquired, range 40 meters, threat level high. Target acquired, range 38 meters, threat level high. Target acquired, range 35 meters, threat level high. Multiple contacts. Recommends suppressive fire. The targeting reticle painted the lead creature, tracking its movement, compensating for the shake in his hands. He lined up center mass on the first one and squeezed the trigger.
Targets in the open. Drust. Light them up. Get your shit in the sock, people. Steal on target.
The belt-fed roared. Tracers cut through the dark, punching into chitin, spraying ichor. Target down. Another climbed over it. Target acquired. A third. A fourth. More behind them. Always more. An endless tide of legs and fangs and hunger. The targeting computer couldn't keep up. Too many contacts. The overlay flickered, struggling to prioritize. Warning. Multiple targets. System overload. Warning. Incoming fire detected. Golden light. The world went white. A plasma bolt hit his position to the right. Heat. Concussion. Something slammed into the side of his helmet hard enough to crack the visor. His head jerked back, and he saw stars. There was something in his eye. He tried to blink it away. The HUD flickered once, twice. Loss of focus. Green text scattered into static. The targeting reticle vanished. No more data. No more range. No more threat assessment. Just him in the dark and the sound of things trying to kill him. Drust ripped the helmet from his head, throwing it to the earth. He wiped his face, but there was only black. Swallowing hard, he pressed his cheek to the stock of his 240 and started to fire again. No target link. No computer. Just instinct. He fired at the movement, at the flash of golden plasma. The smell of burning meat and plastic filled his nose, and he fired, burst after burst. He heard the screams, the shouted orders, but they sounded far away. Underwater. He didn't react at all to the pulling on his body armor drag strap.
We are pulling back. Drust! Pull back!
Corp, he is bleeding.
Most of that is not his blood.
Bull! But Haith, his face.
Stow it, Jones. Drust, you are fine. We are pulling back.
The 240 ran dry again. His hands searched for a belt. Muscle memory. No thought behind it. A slap snapped his head sideways. Drust's vision seemed to clear on Hath's face, screaming. Streaks of red and smudges of black covered her face.
We are pulling back now. Switch to secondary and move. Drust, now!
He slung the weapon. Reached for Smitty. Smitty wasn't there, just pieces. The plasma had caught something explosive on his webbing. The scared kid from Basic was now carbon and meat and things scattered across frozen dirt. We're pulling back. Drust repeated. The words came out hollow, empty. Hands dragged him. He didn't resist, falling backwards onto his butt. Strong fingers grabbed his body armor's drag strap and pulled. A klaxon shattered the air. Different from before. Louder, more urgent.
What is that?
General, retreat.
But.
No buts. Pull. We need to get to the dust-off ships now.
More dragging. More screaming, plasma bolts shrieking overhead, the taste of blood in his mouth. And then, nothing. The med bay snapped back into focus. Galvin was watching him. Those ancient eyes saw too much.
You went somewhere just now, somewhere far away.
The doctor's voice was gentle. Ram's hands were clenched on the edge of the examination table. His knuckles were white. When had that happened? Titan Station, October 31, 04. First deployment. His voice sounded wrong, distant.
What happened there?
Titan was a colony, terraformed. Biggest settlement on Saturn's moons. We were defending the spaceport, last way off-world for civilians. We lost. Humanity lost. The Vrex overran the station, took the whole colony. We evacuated what we could and ran. We had no idea what they were, who they were. It was humanity's first contact with life from outside Sol, and they came to kill us. Ram paused, pushed a lump down in his throat. I lost friends. The colony was devoured. It was the first Vrex horde. They expected their plasma weapons to send us fleeing in terror. Fire it's their deepest fear. They thought it would break us like it breaks everyone else. The Vrex swarm. They flood and chase until there's nothing left to chase. But humans, we're persistence hunters too. We don't stop, and we're ambush predators on top of it. Back a human into a corner, you won't like what happens next. We don't fold, we fight. A pause. We still lost Titan, but they learned what humans were that day.
The soldiers in your unit?
Some of them, yeah.
And the eye?
Ram's hand went to his face. The right side. Habit. Shrapnel. From a friend. He was standing next to me when he wasn't anymore. Part of his gear hit me in the face. Took the eye.
Your file shows it was replaced. Vat-grown tissue with cybernetic enhancement.
My first piece of Borg work. Before that day, an injury like that would have ended a soldier's career. Medical discharge. Pension. Go home and learn to live with one eye. But everything changed after Titan. Humanity needed every soldier it could get. They offered me a choice, go home, or volunteer for an experimental cybernetic program. New tech. Untested. They didn't know if it would even take. I volunteered, signed the waivers. They grew me a new eye in a week. Fitted it with an experimental targeting system, direct neural link, fed data straight to my visual cortex. I was back en route to the front lines a week after that.
Your file mentions decorations from that period, a Purple Heart, and something called a cybernetic cross?
Yeah. Purple Heart for getting wounded. Cybernetic Cross for volunteering to let them turn you into a science experiment so you could stay in the fight. Ram's voice was flat, matter of fact. They gave out a lot of those in the early days. Not everyone made it through the procedures. But the ones who did, we were the future. He flexed his cybernetic hand. The servos hummed quietly. The eye was just the beginning. The arm came later. Then the leg. Then everything else. 30 years of war, and they just kept adding parts. More medals. More Borg work. Same soldier. Galvin was quiet for a long moment. Then he pulled up something on his display. Not Ram's file this time. A calendar.
I'd like to see you weekly, Mr. Ram, just to talk.
That's not necessary.
I think it is.
With respect, Doctor, I've been handling my own head for 30 years. I don't need...
Mr. Ram!
Galvin's voice was patient. The patience of stone. Of something that had been alive for 3 centuries and would be alive for 3 more.
I don't pretend to understand what you experienced. My species does not have war. We do not fight. We do not do what you have done. I have read about it. I have studied the medical literature, but I do not understand it. Not truly.
He paused.
But I understand pain. I know when someone is in pain. I have been a physician for 270 years. I have treated 63 species. Pain looks the same in all of them. No one deserves to suffer, especially not alone.
I'm fine.
You are not. Your heart rate spiked to 140, your pupils dilated, your hands are still shaking. You went somewhere just now, somewhere I cannot follow, somewhere terrible.
Galvin's glowing eyes held his.
I do not know what lives in your head, Mr. Ram, but I know it is hurting you, and I would very much like to help, if you will let me.
And if I don't want help? Galvin's crystalline features shifted, something like regret.
Then I will insist anyway. I am the ship's medical officer. I am required to log all recommendations I make, and whether they were followed. A notation that says patient refused mental health care, that follows a spacer, makes it difficult to find work.
He paused.
I would rather not do that to you, but I will if it means keeping you alive long enough to heal.
Ram stared at him. 300 years old. A being made of crystal and light who had never known violence. And here he was, playing hardball with a veteran who could break him in half. Because he cared. Because he saw something in pain and couldn't look away. That was the thing Ram couldn't quite process. Galvin didn't understand him. Couldn't, but he wanted to help anyway. Fine, weekly, 1 hour. But I'm not promising to talk about anything.
You don't have to promise anything, just show up. We will figure out the rest together.
The ship shuddered. Not hard, not an impact, not damage, but a shudder that ran through the deck plates and up through Ram's spine. A vibration that felt wrong somehow, like reality was folding in on itself. The viewport blazed with impossible light, colors that didn't exist in normal space, patterns that hurt to look at, that made his eyes water and his brain itch. Ram had seen plasma fire, nuclear detonations, the death of ships and men, but nothing like this. Nothing that felt so fundamentally other. Then it was over. The colors collapsed, the patterns folded away, and the viewport showed stars again, but wrong stars. Different configurations. Different lights.
Complete. Transit time, 0.003 seconds subjective. We have left Sol system.
First jump?
Galvin's voice was gentle. First one, yeah. Felt strange.
It gets easier, or at least more familiar. Welcome to the rest of the galaxy, Mr. Ram.
Thanks, Doc. I should. I need to do my rounds.
Of course, but remember, next week, same time.
I'll be here. Ram left the med bay. His boots echoed in the empty corridor, and he walked without thinking about where he was going, just away. Away from the doctor's knowing eyes. Away from the questions he didn't want to answer. He found himself at an observation alcove on Deck 2. A viewport set into the curved hull, big enough to frame the stars. He passed it a dozen times on patrol. Never stopped. He stopped now.
Current position, Kethari system. Distance traveled, 47.3 light-years. Primary star, Kethari Prime, red giant, spectral class M4. Stellar radius approximately 62 times Sol standard. Next jump point, Kethari outer marker. Distance approximately 19.7 AU. Estimated transit time at current velocity, 31 hours, 14 minutes.
Ram stared through the viewport, and his breath caught. The star filled the sky. Not like Sol, not a modest yellow disk you could glance at and look away. This was a bloated, ancient thing, a dying god bleeding light across the void. Red, deep, bloody red. The color of emergency lights, the color of plasma fire, the color of... His pulse spiked. His hand went to his face without thinking, fingers tracing the scars. For a moment, he was back in the foxhole, warm and slick on his visor, the HUD going dead, blood in his eyes, blood everywhere, and that same red light.
Ram, your heart rate has increased to 118 BPM, are you?
I see it. His voice came out flat, controlled. He forced his hand down, forced himself to breathe. It's just a star, just light, not blood, not Titan, just a different sun in a different sky, 47 light-years from everything he'd ever known. Sol was gone. Somewhere behind them, impossibly far now, was the yellow star he'd spent his whole life orbiting. Earth, Mars, Titan, home. All of it. Gone. Replaced by this ancient red eye staring back at him through the viewport. The red light washed over everything. Over the deck plates. Over his hands, one meat, one metal. Over the scars on his face, reflected faintly in the glass.
Are you all right? You seem upset. You have me worried, Ram.
Ram blinked. That wasn't a standard query. Satak didn't ask about feelings, and she never worried. I'm fine. Just the jump. And the light. Tired.
Your heart rate elevated during transition. Cortisol levels increased. These are stress indicators, and I am detecting something. Neural pathways formed before my installation. They are difficult for me to read, but they are affecting you now.
I said I'm fine. Drop it. Told you to stop scanning my thoughts. A pause. Longer than her usual processing time.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
She didn't offer statistics. Didn't recommend intervention protocols. Just acknowledged. That was new. Ram stood there for a long time, alone in the red light, watching a star that wasn't his burn against the dark. Soul is gone. Home is gone. Everything familiar left behind. Ram was asked what happened at Titan Station. He said he lost friends. Some stories aren't for telling, they're for carrying. If you made it this far, maybe give us a like, subscribe, and ring the bell. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and join us next time for the next chapter. I am your host, Ironsides. Travel safe and have a good night. End of Episode 3, The Calm.